Can you see the screen all right? Let me know. Okay. Let's wait a minute or two and then we'll kick off. So I hope you've all had an amazing day. International Women's Day. What a day to be holding a webinar like this. I'm so excited. I hope you are too. All right, so I've had to just minimise the chat box so that I can see my slides to take you obviously through the webinar. So fingers crossed it all goes well. And if you've got any questions, then drop me a message after the webinar. You can reach out, you can email me, you can connect with me on Facebook, and you can ask me any questions you want about tonight's webinar. So welcome, 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 wherever you are listening in from. My name is Lisa and I stay in Scotland, and it is currently 8 p.m. UK time. So it might be morning, afternoon, evening where you are, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join in the Mindset Mastery webinar today. So I'm going to, before we kick off and get into all the juicy stuff, I am going to share a little bit about myself, just to give you a little insight into who I am and why, if you like, I am hosting this webinar for you today. So a few little facts about me. So I am on a mission to serve thousands of women around the globe who are ready to shine and step into their greatness. So that's a little bit about me. That's what my mission is in this world. I'm married with 2 children, which you can see here in the picture. So my husband Neil and my 2 children, Zach and Lily. Over the last 7-8 years, I have built 2 6-figure businesses, and now currently building my 3rd business. I love to work super hard. I thrive on one of the needs that we're going to talk about later on, and I wonder if you'll be able to pick out which one it is when we get to that part. I have coached and trained and mentored entrepreneurs and business owners from my hometown here in Scotland, all the way to Silicon Valley in California. So in Malaysia, in Australia, in France, in the Netherlands. I have worked with entrepreneurs in various different countries over the last 8 to 10 years. I am trained as a strategic interventionist in the official coaching school of Tony Robbins. Oops, hope you can still see me okay. Yeah, the official coaching school of Tony Robbins and Chloe Madonna. So predominantly focusing on human needs psychology, which we're going to touch on today. If you've not already guessed, then I hope you can see me, by the way. If you've not already guessed, then I use my hands all the time when I'm talking. I really need to sit on them so that I can, probably I'd be able to concentrate more if I just sat in my hands. But I use my hands all the time when I'm speaking. When I was a child, I always wanted to be a vet. And I don't know why. That was just one of those, it was one of those jobs and occupations that I thought I would absolutely love to be a vet. However, I don't even have any pets. The only pets I've ever had have been a goldfish and a hamster, and that's when I was just a child. In my adulthood, I've never had any pets. I definitely kind of outgrew the notion to be a vet. My favourite place, as you'll probably be able to guess just through the picture, in the whole wide world is Orlando, Florida. I have been lots of times, and I would absolutely love to own my own home there. Even if I could stay in Scotland and go to Florida, 3 months here, 3 months there, 3 months here, 3 months there, I would just love it. I've been at all different points, our times, seasons, over the last 20 years, I think. But yeah, that's definitely my favourite place in the whole wide world. So that's just to give you a little insight into me, who I am and what I am all about. So when I decided that I was going to be doing this webinar, I initially set out to do it for just entrepreneurs, so just people in business. However, I have received an endless amount of messages from female friends who are not in business, who don't run their own business, but wanted to join in the webinar. And to be honest, what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight, it doesn't matter whether you are a business owner or not, whether you are an entrepreneur or not, that is irrelevant, because all the mindset stuff is the same for everybody. So if you are listening in and you don't have your own business, don't worry about it. Perhaps the first slide might kind of make you think that it's just about entrepreneurs, but I promise it's not. So, but it says here, obviously, entrepreneurial psychology mindset is about developing the right skills, the right behaviours, the right beliefs in order to succeed as an entrepreneur. But no matter what you do, regardless of your chosen business, your chosen profession, it's a known fact that the people who learn entrepreneurial psychology or mindset, master their mindset, will always have increased success. So you've probably already heard or are aware of the success ratio, which many serial entrepreneurs use on a regular basis, and it's 80% mindset, 20% skill set. Ultimately meaning that if you work on mastering your mindset, that's going to allow you to then learn what you need to learn in terms of skills, because your head is in the right place. But we all know that building a business is hard, and many people fail, me included, an endless amount of times. But what in life in general as well, life is hard. So, but what sets us aside, what sets you aside from other people, is the fact that you pick yourself back up, you dust yourself down, and you keep on going. You learn from your mistakes and you keep moving forward. So as an entrepreneur over the last 10 years, I have learned a lot. I have had the opportunity to surround myself with incredible people, but I definitely know that adopting the psychology of these super successful entrepreneurs, so 6, 7, 8-figure earners, is not something that it is something that you have to master. So a bit like if you think about swimming, so you can't really learn to swim at a library. You can read books about learning to swim at a library, but you can't learn the skill itself. So you have to get in the water, and being an entrepreneur is exactly the same. So, or whatever, if it's your career, whatever job you're in, it's exactly the same. You have to get in the water. You have to, take the actions that they take. You have to develop the mindset that they have in order to propel and move yourself forward. So if you're ready to step into your greatness and shine and show the world what you are made of, then you've definitely come to the right place. So what are we going to talk about tonight then? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is our beliefs. Now, in order to, if you've got a pad and a pen, actually it might be worthwhile taking a few notes so that you can go back over your notes from the webinar and perhaps take actions moving forward. I've got a glass of water. If you've got tea or wine, lucky you. But yes, in order to develop our potential, we must develop our beliefs. Now, I like to call our beliefs the rules of the game. Now, this game is your game. So this game of life is yours. So you determine the rules. You're going to determine the rules. So if you don't like the rules, if you don't like the game, let's mix it up a little bit. Change the rules, because you've got the power and the ability to do that. Now, beliefs are often related to our behaviours and vehicles that we use in order to meet our needs. Now, I'm going to explore or touch on vehicles later on, but I'll explore our needs in a little bit more detail. But often our beliefs are related to our behaviours and vehicles that we use in order to meet our needs. Now, our beliefs can be empowering beliefs, or they can be disempowering or limited or negative, whatever wording you want to use. So they can either be empowering, positive beliefs, or they can be disempowering, limiting beliefs. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about what are your limiting beliefs. So let's take a note. If you've got your pad and pen or the notes in your phone or whatever it may be, let's take a little note of what your limiting beliefs are. So write those down. So pick an area of your life. So you might choose to, if you are an entrepreneur or a businesswoman, you might choose to pick your business. So let's write down your limiting beliefs about you creating a 6 or 7 figure income. If that's what you would like to do, what are your limiting beliefs around that? Or what are your limiting beliefs about creating the best, most fulfilling relationship with your partner? What are your limiting beliefs? What are your limiting beliefs around becoming the healthiest version of yourself? Whatever area or sphere of your life, as I like to call it, pick an area and then write down what your limiting beliefs are around it. Now, there is a reason that you are holding on to these limiting beliefs, and the chances are you have been holding on to these for quite some time. Because that's often what happens. You get these beliefs, you find these beliefs, you manifest them, you hold on to them for a long, long time. But there's a reason. There's a reason for you holding on to these limiting beliefs. And this is what I want you to think about. So this is when sometimes you have to be really honest with yourself when it comes to this. The reason may be that you are experiencing what is called side benefits. So side benefits are benefits that you're receiving in a positive way. They might be positive, they could be negative, but it's often positive benefits that you're getting from holding on to these limiting beliefs. So for example, let's say one of your limiting beliefs are that I don't have the time. I don't have the time. That might not, I don't have the time to go to the gym, I don't have the time to build my business, I don't have the time to make dinners, whatever that belief is, in whatever area of your life, you have decided that one of those limiting beliefs is, I do not have the time. So when you say that, you don't have the time, what side benefit are you receiving from saying that? It could be that because you're saying I don't have the time, that allows other people in your life, family, friends, colleagues, to come to you and provide you with additional support. They give you extra support. They make sure that you're okay. What can they do for you to take that pressure off you? How can they help you? Perhaps your mum comes round and does your ironing. Yay! Guilty of that one. Whatever it may be, what side benefits are you receiving? So take a note of those and write that down. So it could be that you're also receiving more attention. So because you don't have the time, your family and friends are rallying around you, giving you more support. So therefore you're receiving more attention. And therefore, this whole situation is there fulfilling your needs. Now, as I said, I'm going to explore that in a little bit more detail. But if it's fulfilling your needs, why are you going to let it go? Why are you going to stop holding on to that limiting belief? Because it's fulfilling your needs. And you're also receiving all these side benefits from it. It could be a limiting belief that your husband is lazy. My husband's lazy. He's lazy. Point blank, he's lazy. So that's a limiting belief that you have about your husband. So you have this limiting belief, but what side benefits are you getting, are you receiving from this limiting belief? Well, the fact is you're then going to tell your family and friends that your husband's lazy. You're going to tell them because you're going to have a little moan about how lazy your husband is, the fact that he never does the dishes, the fact that he never picks up his washing behind himself, the fact that he drops stuff wherever he goes and doesn't tidy it up. You're going to tell your family and friends that your husband is lazy. Then when you tell your family and friends this situation and how lazy he is, they're going to agree with you. They're going to say, yeah, that's right. He is lazy. So therefore you're receiving a side benefit. Your side benefit is that they are in agreement with you. You are receiving positive side benefits from this. They agree with you. They're going to back you up in your limiting belief about how lazy your husband is. So you're receiving side benefits. So therefore, you feel good about this because you feel good because other people are actually backing you up and supporting your decision, telling you that you are right. Yeah, you are right. Your husband is lazy. So then you feel good because you know that you're right. And it's good to feel right. You like feeling good. You like being in control of a situation. You like knowing that I'm right. So that's all side benefits that you're receiving. So why are you going to let go of that limiting belief? Because look at all these other people that's in agreement with you. If you let go of that limiting belief, they have nothing to agree with you. They can't agree with you about your husband being lazy. So this is about a time where you have to be really honest with yourself when you're writing down what side benefits you're receiving from these limiting beliefs. Okay, next, emotions. So what happens now is your beliefs will trigger your emotions and your emotions will lead you to take action. Now, going back to these limiting beliefs, we know that these limiting beliefs allow you to experience emotion, obviously. The emotions could be frustration, they could be anger, they could be sadness, they could be upset. Whatever emotions it's allowing you to experience, take a little note of it, write them down. What emotions are triggered through your limiting belief? So when you believe this situation, or you believe that you don't have the time, or you believe that your husband's lazy, whatever it is, what emotions does that trigger in you? What happens? So write them down. So frustration, anger, upset, sadness. What is it that it's actually triggering? What are you doing with these emotions? What actions, what behaviours is it leading you to take? Because remember, it's your emotional state that leads you to take action. So whatever your emotional state is, that is going to trigger what action you take or what action you don't take. Now, it's important to think about emotions because a lot of people believe that emotions come to us. A lot of people will say that the emotions come to them, that it's out with their control, when in fact, we're the ones that go to these emotions. So we find a way to immerse ourselves within these emotions. Now, there's 3 things that you have to consider, or 3 things that are always in existence when you are fully immersed in any emotion, whether that be happiness, sadness, or anything in between. And the 3 things are, 1, your physiology. So if you want to interrupt an emotion, you're going to need to interrupt at least one of these 3 things. So 1 is your physiology, your posture, your body language. The second thing is your mental focus. What are you focusing on when you are in a state of frustration? What are you focusing on when you are in a state of anger? What are you focusing on when you're in a state of happiness? You're focusing in different things. Then the third thing is the language. What language are you using? So that's language internally and externally. What's going on inside your head? What words, what questions are you asking yourself? What words are you using on a regular basis, on a daily basis, that's going to allow you to be immersed in that emotion? So those are three things that you need to consider when you're thinking about emotions. Now, if you want to experience positive emotions or more often, then you need to, one, think about what beliefs do you need to change in order to experience the positive emotions that you want to experience. What limiting beliefs have you currently got that has triggered an emotional state in you that you don't like? What is the limiting belief that you're holding on to that's triggered that emotion? Because you don't like that emotion. So how do you change the emotion? Well, you can do it with, by interrupting one of these three things or two or three of them. And you can also do it by reevaluating your beliefs. What beliefs do you have to change? So if you want to change that belief that you have about not having time, because it triggers an emotional state of frustration, which leads you to then procrastinate, so therefore you don't take the action. Because remember, it's your emotions that lead to you taking action, which we're going to move on to and explore. So failure then to take action. So we now know that you've got these limiting beliefs. We know that it's triggered a certain emotional state in you, and we know that that emotional state is going to lead you to take action, but you're failing to take action. You're not taking the action that you want to take. Why? Why is that? Why are you not taking the action that you want to take? There's no point in me saying to you, and probably you've heard this 100 times over, and I'm not going to say to you, well, you just need to do it. Because if it was that simple, we would all do it. If it was that easy, we would all just take consistent action every single day, and it wouldn't be an issue. It's not that simple. Mastering your mindset is not easy. So if you're going to if you think you're going to listen into this webinar, and then after the 40, 50, 60 minutes, however long it's going to last, if you think you're going to go away and master your mindset within a day, unfortunately, that is not going to happen. But what is going to happen is you're going to leave this webinar with a list of techniques, strategies, and actions that's going to allow you to master your mindset if you follow them, the strategies, techniques, and actions on a consistent daily basis. If you just do all of these things on a regular basis, when you find yourself in that slump, you're going to get yourself out it much, much quicker. So this is the cycle that I go through anytime I feel that I am against the world or the world is against me, because it happens to everybody. It doesn't matter how good you are at practicing mindset, there's going to be times where it's extremely challenging. But let's think about why we're failing to take action. Well, I believe it's because of pain. And because the pain-pleasure principle controls every single decision that we make. So although it's not actual pain that drives us, it's the fear that it will lead to pain. Now, this may disguise itself, or fear may disguise itself as many, many things. It could disguise itself as, you can see here on the screen, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being judged, fear of the unknown, fear of other people's opinions, fear of not hitting your goals, fear of losing money. The fears can go on. So that it disguises itself as fear. So if you're failing to take action, it's probably because you're linking pain to that said action. So remember, pain and pleasure, your brain is designed to, one, get you out of pain and steer you towards pleasure. That's what your brain does. That is exactly what it does. It's survival. If it's painful, it's going to do its very best to steer you away from anything that is painful. That's why people say it's, you know, you're comfortable within that comfort zone, because it's pleasurable in your comfort zone. It's painful to push yourself out with a comfort zone. There's nothing pleasurable about pushing yourself out with your comfort zone. That's pain, because you're going to experience these fears of failure, these fears of being judged, these fears of the unknown. So it's painful. And if you're failing to take action, it's probably because you're linking more pain to the said action, to actually making the change, than you are to staying still. And it should be the other way about. You should be linking more pain to staying still, and more pleasure to taking the action to move yourself forward. So write down, if you are not taking action in a particular area of your life, then note next to it, am I linking pain to this area, or am I linking pleasure? So take note of that and become aware of your pain and your pleasure. But this is exactly why people procrastinate, and it is because they're linking pain to it. But also remember, you need to take into consideration what we've previously spoke about the beliefs and the emotions as well. You'll probably be receiving side benefits as well to these limiting beliefs that we've explored, and the emotional states as well. So there's a lot to consider. It's not just straightforward. Okay, so let's move on to our, human needs. So we know that you might now be linking more pain to a decision of taking action. So we know that, but why? Now we need to understand, why are you linking this pain? Why is that? Well, what underpins, so this is what I was coming to in the human needs psychology part. What underpins that decision that you have made to link more pain to taking that action, or to not taking the action? What is it that motivates you to take or make that decision? Well, according to human needs psychology, it is our 6 universal needs. So we all have 6 universal needs. Now, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from in the world, your age, your race, your sex, your religion, your background, you're rich, you're poor, it's irrelevant. These are universal needs. Now, the needs are not desires. They are profound needs, and they are essential to human survival. Now, it's important that you remember this, because when I say to you that you will lie to yourself in order to fulfill your needs, that may come as a shock, but we do it. People do it. They lie to themselves in order to fulfill their needs. Now, not intentionally, they might be doing it subconsciously, but hopefully what we're exploring today in the webinar is going to allow you to understand this in a bit more detail, so that you can appreciate what you need to do in order to take control of whatever area of your life that you're aiming to take control of. So the key to both understanding and changing human behaviour lies in our ability to understand and manage our 6 human needs. So what are they? What are these human needs? Okay, so this is when you're definitely going to need your pen. So if you've got your pen there, write these ones down. So these are your first 4 needs. Okay, so the first one then is certainty. So we all want to avoid pain, we all want to feel safe, we all want to feel protected, we want to feel comfortable, we want to feel secure, and every single person needs some level of certainty in their life. So whether that be a roof over your head, knowing where your next meal is coming from, knowing that your next door neighbour's not going to attack you, whatever it may be. Everybody needs to experience some degree of certainty in their life. Everyone needs it, but at the degree at which they need it is going to be different. Also, how you fulfill that need is also going to be different. So your need for certainty might be extremely high in your agenda. That might be a 10 for you. So if you were assessing your human needs, a 1 would be, it's not important at all. A 5 would be, it's kind of important. A 10 is, that is extremely important to me. I need to fulfill this need for certainty. I need to know that I feel safe, secure, protected, roof over my head, money coming in on a monthly basis, knowing that I've got a set amount, I'm in control of the situation. So that could be a 10 for you. It could also be a 10 for someone else listening to the webinar. However, how both of you will meet that need could be different. One of you might meet it in a positive way. One of you might meet it in a negative way. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because it can be pretty complex. Then you've got your need for variety. So that's your second need. So everybody needs variety. If we get stuck in the same routine day in, day out, eventually you're going to seek change. You're going to seek that variety in your life. Now, the excitement that comes from variety is essential to make us feel alive inside. Now, we need that. That is what gives us, the feeling of excitement, suspense, thrill, instability, even chaos, a little bit of fear, problems, challenges. Not really knowing what's going to happen, going to take the chance, but I'm not sure what's going to happen, I'm going to do it anyway. But it's that feeling of excitement that actually makes you feel alive inside. So you've got that. So people can fulfill their need for variety through even watching television. So watching, soaps or reality TV, not knowing what's going to happen. Let's watch the next episode. They could fulfill their need for variety through taking part in high-risk, extreme sports, perhaps. Everybody's going to be different. Your third need then is significance. Now, everybody wants to feel important, needed, wanted, valued, special, worthy, unique. If any of these words come to light for you, then that is the need for significance. That's ultimately what it means. If you ever find yourself comparing yourself to other people, that often comes from a quest to fulfill your need for significance. So if you are a female listening in to the webinar today and you are one of those people who compares themselves to other people, now you know why. Now you know why. It's not because you don't want to do it. Yeah, I get that you don't want to do it. It might be one of those limiting beliefs that you have. Like, I'm always comparing myself. I believe that I can't stop comparing myself to other people. Why do I always compare myself to other people? This comparing myself to other people is really affecting my life. Now you know why. It's because this need is obviously important to you. So that could be something that you need to take into consideration. Now, we can feel significant when we achieve something, when we create something, when we make something, when we design something. That allows us to feel our need for significance. In a positive way, it can help us to raise our standards as well. But in a negative way, significance can be, now you can fulfill all of these needs in a positive or negative way, but in a negative way for significance, that could be, you may have experienced it through other people perhaps putting you down. So perhaps saying to you, what is this business you're doing? It's a lot of rubbish. It's not going to work. So now you know, and hopefully this has given you an insight into why that person is putting you down. It's not really anything to do with you. It's actually to allow them to fulfill their need for significance. So actually it's their shit, it's not yours. That's a good way to think about it. So that's how people can fulfill it in a negative way. Your fourth need then, love and connection. Now, we know that everybody strives for love. Everybody strives for love and they hope for love. But unfortunately, not everybody will get to experience it. So therefore, they'll settle for connection. So connection, some level, again, positive or negative, any form of connection, most people will settle for. And you can fulfill this need through, of course, giving love, receiving love. You can also fulfill it through dominating your partner or other people in the workforce or in your business. If you are dominating or making people do what you want them to do, that is a connection that you have with someone. It might not be a positive one, might be a negative connection, but nonetheless, it is a connection. So people will find ways to fulfill this need. So that these first four needs that we've just spoke about, these ones are essential to human survival. The first four needs are essential to human survival. Now, when I said to you, if you might even lie to yourself in order to fulfill these needs. So if there's certain needs on here that you think, you know, I'm not happy, the fact that I feel as if that is a need that's high in my agenda, then you'll probably try and find a way to lie to yourself. So then your remaining two needs, these are the ones that are essential to human fulfillment. These are the needs of the spirit, if you like. So you've got growth and contribution. So growth, of course, is, you've probably heard the saying, when we stop growing, we die. Now, that's not literally, of course we don't. But in terms of emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, we need to constantly grow. Anything that you want to remain consistent or constant in your life must be cultivated. And by cultivated, I mean you must grow all the time. So if you want your relationship with your husband or your partner to always feel fulfilling, you always have to grow. That relationship should never remain stagnant. If you want your business to move forward, you have to move with the times. You have to keep up to date with what's happening in the world of business. You have to grow. You have to grow emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually as a person to suit your business, to allow it to move forward. Then you've got contribution. So contribution is the need that regulates all other needs. So if in doubt, always try and come or aim from a place of contribution. So contribution, of course, is about going above and beyond yourself. So this is about something bigger than you, much bigger than you. So that could be you contributing to charity, it could be given to other people, it could just be, given to your family, to your friends, but it could be planting trees, it could be writing a book, contributing to the community, whatever that may be. You're coming from a place of contribution. You're not thinking about, what am I going to get from this? What am I going to get from this? If I do, I am only going to do X, Y, and Z if I get X, Y, and Z back. That's not what contribution is. Contribution is about always contributing beyond yourself. So that's your last two human needs. So hopefully you've taken note of all six of those needs, because I think that it's really important, as I said, for you to understand and manage these needs. It allows you to really understand your human motivation. So meeting those needs. So when it comes to meeting those needs, you and I might have the same two top needs. So if you were to really assess these two needs, these six needs, you might come out with Two needs that are extremely important to you, are ones that are valuable to you, are ones that are really high in your agenda. Those are your top two needs, and those are the ones that you will do whatever it takes in order to fulfill. As I've already said, how you fulfill them might be different to how I fulfill them, and that comes down to our belief system. So this is taking us right round this full cycle, so which I'll reiterate in a minute, but that goes back to our belief system. Now, it's really, really important to remember that not to get your needs mixed up with vehicles. So this happens a lot. So when I'm speaking to clients, they will say to me, well, I need to make money. That is what I need to do. Because if I make money, you know, I'll feel better, I'll feel this, I can do X, Y, and Z. Money, it's important to remember this, money is not a need. Money is the vehicle that is used to fulfill a need. Now, that need might be certainty. Why might it be certainty? Well, it might be certainty because, remember, certainty is about knowing that you have that roof over your head, knowing that you have that food on the table, knowing that you feel safe and secure in your home, knowing that you know what money's coming in next week or next month. That is the need for certainty. The money is merely the vehicle used to fuel or fulfill that need. So when you're assessing your needs, don't get it mixed up with vehicles. Okay, so here is your mindset mastery blueprint. So I've taken you right round this full cycle. So we know about your beliefs, and we know that in order to progress or develop your potential, you need to develop your belief system. We know that if you have limiting beliefs, the possibility is that you're holding on to them because you're experiencing side benefits. We know that these limiting beliefs are triggering an emotional state in you. What emotional state is it triggering within you? Because that emotion is going to lead you to take action. So what action is it leading you to take? Okay, so you're now taking action, but you're not taking the action you want to be taking. Why is that? Why are you not taking the action? Well, we know it's because you're probably linking more pain than pleasure to that said action. And why is that? What is it that's motivating you to make that decision of linking more pain to that action? Well, it's your needs, because you're going to do whatever it takes to fulfill those needs. So if those needs are, those needs are certainty, variety, significance, love, connection, growth, contribution, you're going to do whatever it takes to fulfill those needs, whether it be in a positive or negative way. And that's taking you right round that full cycle again. So these are things that you really need to focus on or concentrate on when it comes to mastering your mindset. But take it individually for each area or sphere of your life. So different areas of your life. So take this and implement it. Implement this blueprint in your business. Implement it in your career. Implement it in your relationships. Implement it in your lifestyle. Implement it for your own personal development. It's going to be the same. So you're just going to use this as a blueprint or a roadmap to be able to move any or all areas of your life forward. So this is what successful entrepreneurs do. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're listening in to this is what successful entrepreneurs do. This is what they practice on a regular basis. So when I find myself stuck in situations or emotional states, I just look at this and I think, and I go right round the cycle and I write everything down and I go through it in my own time and I work my way out that negative mindset that I was previously in. Okay, so let's move on. And that's us. that is us we are now at the end of the webinar, so I hope I've not taken up too much of your time, probably about 50 minutes. I hope that you've managed to take away some great ideas, some good content from the webinar, and I really hope that you go out there and implement and you try your best in order to master these mindset techniques. If you want to reach out and perhaps speak to me in more detail, then you're very welcome to book in for a free consultation call, and we can spend 30 minutes together just thrashing out some ideas, reiterating, what it is that you've taken away from the webinar and how I can help you to move your life, your relationships, or your business forward. So pop over into the Empowerment Empire community group, which is in Facebook. So you'll find us just through typing the Empowerment Empire community. Join the group and you'll find lots more information, techniques, strategies and actions in order to propel your business and your life forward. Also dropping into your inbox as a free download for entrepreneurs, and it's just my 10 top traits of highly successful entrepreneurs. So you can check that out. And again, if you're not in business, still make sure you check out that free download, because it's going to give you some food for thought. So as always, if you have any questions, you know where I am. And I would love to hear from you, and I look forward to seeing you in our community page. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining. Take care. Bye-bye.